Willow Creek was the kind of neighborhood real estate agents like to brag about. Manicured lawns stretched like green carpets, houses gleamed in the sunlight with their white-trimmed windows, and children biked safely along wide, clean streets. To outsiders, it was paradise. To those who lived there, it was a cage wrapped in roses. At the center of this manicured world was the Homeowners Association. The HOA wasn't just a board. It was an empire ruled by one woman, Margaret Holloway, known to everyone as Madam President. With her platinum hair always styled to perfection, her tailored pink suits, and her ability to turn a smile into a weapon, she controlled Willow Creek with an iron fist disguised as neighborhood pride. She decided what color your mailbox could be, how often your grass should be cut, and whether the seasonal wreath on your door was tasteful or tacky. Most families despised her in private, but obeyed in public, fearing her fines, letters, and social humiliation. But there was one family that didn't quite fit into Margaret's world: the Carters. The Carter family. David Carter was a decorated Navy SEAL veteran, recently retired after 20 years of service. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a calm but commanding presence, David wasn't the type to seek conflict, but he didn't shy away from it either. His wife, Emily, was the opposite: gentle, kind, and always the first to welcome new neighbors with baked bread or warm coffee. They had one young daughter, Lily, who adored riding her pink scooter up and down the cul-de-sac. When the Carters moved into Willow Creek, many thought they'd be the perfect addition: patriotic, respectful, disciplined. But Margaret saw something different. She saw a threat. David didn't bow to authority. He asked questions. He ignored petty notices about his overly tall rose bushes or unsanctioned patio furniture. Emily's warm friendliness only seemed to irritate Margaret further, as if kindness itself was rebellion. The furs. "Mr. Carter," she said sweetly, "the American flag on your porch is not regulation size. Our guidelines specify 3 by 5 feet, not 4 by 6. David stared at her, expression unreadable. "It's the flag I carried on my last deployment. It stays." Margaret's smile faltered. "Rules are rules. Everyone else abides by them." David leaned on the doorframe, his tone even but firm. "I've fought for this flag. I don't need permission to hang it on my home." Emily gently touched his arm, diffusing the tension, but the seed of hostility had been planted. From that moment, Margaret decided the Carters had to be put in their place. Tension in paradise. Weeks turned into months. Margaret found reasons to send letters: grass an inch too long, trash bins visible for too many minutes, Lily's chalk drawings on the sidewalk disturbing the neighborhood's image. Emily endured the harassment quietly, trying to keep the peace for Lily's sake. But David noticed. He noticed every sideways glance, every passive-aggressive comment, every false complaint from Margaret's loyal clique. He held his tongue, reminding himself he wasn't in a war zone anymore, that this was civilian life, and battles weren't always worth fighting. Still, beneath his calm exterior, his instincts stirred. Something about Margaret's control wasn't just petty, it was sinister. The gathering storm. On a warm Saturday afternoon, Willow Creek buzzed with activity. Families trimmed hedges, kids played in sprinklers, and neighbors waved politely. But beneath the sunshine, whispers circulated. Margaret had confronted Emily earlier that morning about Lily's scooter being left near the sidewalk. Voices had risen. Emily had tried to explain, but Margaret had cut her off. David came home to find Emily shaken, sitting at the kitchen table. "She embarrassed me in front of half the street," Emily admitted softly. It was like she was waiting for an excuse. David clenched his jaw. He wasn't a man who lost his temper. The morning began like any other in Willow Creek. Lawns were mowed in neat lines, sprinklers hissed rhythmically, and the air smelled faintly of barbecue from someone eager to start the weekend early. But beneath the suburbs' picture-perfect calm, something sharp was brewing. Emily Carter was kneeling by the flower bed, tending to her roses. She hummed softly, trying to push Margaret's harsh words from the day before out of her mind. Lily sat on the porch, drawing with chalk, filling the concrete with bright suns and stick figures. Then Margaret arrived. Her fuchsia suit stood out like a warning flare as she strode across the street. high heels clicking against the pavement. Her lips were pulled into a tight smile that never reached her cold eyes. A small group of neighbors lingered nearby, pretending to sweep driveways or trim hedges, eager for the spectacle they knew was coming. "Emily," Margaret called sharply, "we need to talk." Emily rose, brushing dirt from her gloves. "Good morning, Margaret. What seems to be the problem this time?" Margaret's smile widened dangerously. "The problem, dear, is your lack of respect for community standards. Your daughter's scribbles," she gestured toward Lily's chalk art, "are making our sidewalks look like a carnival." Emily's jaw tightened. "She's 6 years old. It's chalk. It washes away with the next rain." Margaret leaned closer, voice dropping into a hiss. "Rules are rules, and your family seems to think you're above them." Emily straightened, her patience fraying. "We've tried to cooperate, but this is harassment, Margaret. Enough is enough." The word struck like a spark to dry kindling. Margaret's face twisted with fury. She stepped forward, hand rising before Emily could react. Slap! The crack echoed across the street, sharp and shocking. Emily stumbled back, her cheek flaming red. Lily dropped her chalk, eyes wide in terror. Gasps erupted from the watching neighbors. A phone was already raised, recording.